Jensen Wright had always believed that being the best mechanic in Thunder Valley meant something. Today, standing before the strangest elevator he'd ever seen, he realized it meant absolutely nothing. The abandoned research facility loomed around him, its walls covered in dust and shadows, except for this one pristine corner where technology beyond his comprehension pulsed with an otherworldly blue light. "Well, this definitely isn't in any repair manual," he muttered, running his calloused hands over the seamless metal surface. The contract had seemed simple enough: check the old facility's infrastructure before the demolition crew arrived next week. Nobody mentioned anything about finding what looked like a prop from a sci-fi movie. The elevator's control panel featured symbols that shifted and changed as he watched, like liquid mercury dancing across the surface. His tablet, loaded with every technical manual he owned, offered no insight into the strange machinery. Jensen's reputation for fixing the unfixable had drawn clients from across 3 states, but this was different. A soft hum emanated from the structure, growing stronger as he approached. Just another machine, he told himself, though his racing heart suggested otherwise. Everything can be fixed if you understand how it works. That had been his mother's motto, passed down along with her tools and her stubborn determination. The moment Jensen touched the control panel, everything changed. The symbols flared to life, projecting a holographic interface that filled the air around him. Warning messages in dozens of languages scrolled past his eyes, none of them English, yet somehow he understood their urgent tone. "Maintenance protocol activated," announced a voice that seemed to bypass his ears and speak directly to his brain. "Identifying. Human technician detected. Warning, species classification, potentially volatile." Jensen barely had time to process the insult before the floor beneath his feet transformed into a transparent platform, revealing the vast machinery below, technology that definitely hadn't been there when he checked the building's foundation earlier. "Hey now, what's happening?" he asked, trying to maintain his professional composure even as panic crept into his voice. The holographic display shifted, showing what appeared to be a star map, with Earth highlighted in pulsing red. "Maintenance request logged. Initiating Galactic Standard Procedure 7B, Emergency Technical Consultation." "Wait, what? No, I just need to check the dash." Jensen's protest was cut short as the elevator's walls suddenly became transparent, revealing that the research facility had vanished. Instead, he found himself suspended in what appeared to be a massive hangar bay, surrounded by vessels that defied physics and creatures that defied description. A tall, crystalline being approached, its form shifting like cut diamonds catching light. "Technical consultant Wright," it chimed in perfect English, "your arrival is most opportune. The Galactic Maintenance Union has been monitoring Earth's technological development, waiting for a suitable representative." Jensen's mouth went dry. "I'm just here to check the elevator." "Precisely." The crystalline being's surface rippled with what might have been enthusiasm. "You are the first human to correctly identify the quantum transportation hub as a simple elevator. Your species typically mistakes our technology for weapon systems or cosmic phenomena. This indicates a practical understanding we've been seeking." "That's flattering," Jensen managed, watching as more alien beings gathered around his transparent enclosure. Some floated, others walked on impossible numbers of legs, and a few seemed to exist in more dimensions than he could comprehend. "Indeed. However, we face a rather urgent situation." The crystalline being's surface darkened slightly. "Your activation of this hub has alerted several interested parties. Some believe Earth's technological advancement signals readiness for galactic integration. Others," it paused diplomatically, "have different interpretations." Through the transparent walls, Jensen watched as massive ships began appearing in the distance, their designs ranging from elegantly organic to aggressively mechanical. "Let me guess," he said, his voice surprisingly steady despite the situation, "those different interpretations involve weapons?" "Quite perceptive." This is why we believe you're the perfect candidate to help prevent an unfortunate escalation. Your species has a remarkable talent for both creating and solving problems, often simultaneously. Jensen thought about every impossible repair job he'd ever tackled, every machine others had declared unfixable that he'd brought back to life. This was just another broken system needing the right touch, albeit one with potentially galaxy-ending consequences. Right then, he said, pulling out his tablet and favorite wrench. Walk me through exactly what needs fixing, and let's try to avoid any interstellar incidents while we're at it. The crystalline being's surface sparkled with what might have been amusement. I should warn you, this particular repair job may require more than your standard toolkit. Jensen watched as another ship materialized nearby, this one bristling with what were definitely weapons. Story of my life, he sighed, already calculating how to adapt Earth mechanics to alien technology. At least it can't get any worse than the time I had to fix Mrs. Henderson's quantum toaster. The universe, as it often does, took that as a challenge. The problem with being suddenly thrust into an intergalactic diplomatic crisis, Jensen decided, was that nobody had thought to include basic alien etiquette in his technical training. He stood in what he'd been told was the central chamber of galactic relations, though it looked more like the inside of a kaleidoscope crossed with a quantum computer. His crystalline guide, who had finally introduced itself as Prisma, hovered nearby as various alien delegations filed into the chamber. Remember, Prisma chimed, whatever you do, don't mention quantum mechanics to the Voidborn delegation. They're still sensitive about the whole humans accidentally discovered quantum entanglement while trying to make better coffee machines incident. Jensen, who had been about to do exactly that, closed his mouth. He watched as a group of beings that appeared to be made entirely of shifting darkness glided into the chamber. Their name tags, or what he assumed were name tags, flickered in and out of existence. Technical consultant Wright, rumbled a voice like grinding gears. Jensen turned to face what appeared to be a massive mechanical entity, its body composed of constantly rotating cogs and steam-powered appendages. I am Ambassador Gear Sequence 7 of the Mechanoid Collective. We have concerns about your species' approach to technological development. Oh. Jensen tried to sound professional while mentally calculating how many wrenches it would take to disassemble the ambassador if things went south. What kind of concerns? You created artificial intelligence by accident while trying to make cat videos more entertaining, the ambassador stated flatly. You discovered faster-than-light theory through a misplaced decimal point in a pizza delivery calculation. Your species treats the fundamental laws of physics like suggestions. Jensen considered this. In our defense, those cat videos are really entertaining. Before the ambassador could respond, a new delegation entered, beings composed of pure energy contained within environmental suits. Their leader, introducing itself as Wavelength, immediately began arguing with the mechanoid ambassador. The human's chaotic approach to innovation is exactly what the galaxy needs. Wavelength pulsed enthusiastically. Did you know they once fixed a spacecraft using duct tape? Duct tape. It's brilliant. It's reckless, countered Gear Sequence 7. They don't even fully understand how their own technology works half the time. Neither do we. Wavelength flared brightly. That's what makes it exciting. Jensen watched the exchange with growing concern. On one side, various alien species were arguing for Earth's immediate integration into the galactic community. On the other, a coalition of more conservative species demanded Earth be quarantined for everyone's safety. In the middle, Jensen stood with his trusty toolbox, wondering if any of this could be solved with a good wrench and some WD-40. Prisma's crystalline surface rippled with concern. Perhaps you could demonstrate your problem-solving capabilities? Show them why we chose you as Earth's representative? You mean why your malfunctioning elevator chose me, Jensen muttered, but he stepped forward anyway. The chamber fell silent as he approached the central podium, which adjusted its height automatically to accommodate him. Look, he began, I get it. We humans do things differently. Sometimes we solve problems by accident. Sometimes we create bigger problems while trying to fix small ones. But here's the thing, we never stop trying to make things better. He pulled out his tablet, projecting images of human innovations, from the wheel to modern spacecraft. Yes, we discovered some quantum principles while trying to make better coffee. But you know what? That coffee maker now powers small cities. We found faster-than-light theory through a pizza calculation, but that same formula helped us develop better medical scanning technology. The void-born delegation shifted uncomfortably. One of them spoke, its voice like whispers in a deep cave. But your species is unpredictable. You turned a cleaning robot into a dance instructor. And now it's teaching quantum physics through interpretive dance, Jensen countered. Sometimes the best solutions come from unexpected places. A new commotion at the chamber's entrance drew everyone's attention. A delegation of what appeared to be sentient mathematics had arrived, their equations floating in the air around them like angry punctuation marks. The humans must be contained, declared their leader, a particularly aggressive differential equation. They recently attempted to solve a millennium-old mathematical proof using a rubber duck and a toaster. Did it work? Asked Wavelength eagerly. That's not the point, the equation pulsed frantically. The point is they succeeded. Jensen sensed the chamber tipping toward chaos again. He needed to do something dramatic, something to prove humans could be trusted with advanced technology. His eyes fell on his toolbox, and an idea formed, probably a terrible one, but those tended to be his specialty. Ambassador Gear Sequence 7, he called out, your left secondary motivator is out of alignment by about 3 degrees. The mechanical being froze. Impossible. Our systems are perfect. Perfect systems don't make that particular grinding sound on every 7th rotation, Jensen countered. I bet it's affecting your higher cognitive functions too, making you about 12% more irritable than usual. The chamber went deadly quiet. Jensen approached the ambassador, tools in hand. Let me show you something about human innovation. What followed was either the most brilliant or most foolish display of mechanical expertise in galactic history. Jensen, armed with nothing but Earth tools and determination, proceeded to adjust and optimize the ambassador's systems, all while explaining how human problem-solving worked. See, we don't just follow manuals, he explained, carefully realigning a quantum gear. We observe, we adapt, we improvise. Sometimes we fail spectacularly, but we learn from those failures. And yes, sometimes we solve complex problems with duct tape and rubber ducks, but that's because we understand that simplicity often trumps complexity. The ambassador's systems hummed with new efficiency. This is remarkable, Gear Sequence 7 admitted. My processing speed has increased by 23%. And I did it with tools from a planet that still thinks digital watches are pretty neat, Jensen grinned. Imagine what we could learn from each other if we worked together instead of arguing about who's doing technology wrong. The chamber erupted in discussion. The energy beings were practically vibrating with excitement. Even the Voidborn seemed intrigued, their darkness slightly less absolute. The mathematical delegation had devolved into a heated debate about the theoretical applications of rubber duck dynamics. Prisma's surface sparkled with approval. Well done. Though I should mention, you may have just accidentally nominated yourself for a position on the Galactic Technical Advisory Board. Jensen blinked. What now? Oh yes, Prisma chimed cheerfully. And wait until you see their elevator system. It's much more complicated than ours. Jensen looked at his toolbox, then at the increasingly excited alien delegations, and finally at the massive display showing hundreds more ships arriving in Earth's orbit. He had a feeling his job had just gotten a lot more interesting. Right then, he sighed, pulling out his favorite wrench. But first, someone's going to have to explain to Earth why there's a fleet of alien ships doing maintenance inspections in orbit. Any volunteers? The entire chamber suddenly found their various appendages, equations, and energy fields very interesting to look at. Typical, Jensen thought. No matter the species, nobody wanted to deal with the paperwork. Jensen Wright stood before the United Nations Security Council, trying not to fidget with his wrench. The room was packed with world leaders, military commanders, and enough security personnel to invade a small country. Behind him, Prisma hovered serenely, their crystalline form casting rainbow patterns across the worried faces of Earth's most powerful people. "Let me get this straight," said the UN Secretary-General, massaging her temples. "You fixed an alien elevator, and now we're part of a galactic maintenance union?" "Well, technically," Jensen cleared his throat, "we're on probation. The good news is, several advanced civilizations want to share technology with us. The bad news is, they want me to supervise all technological exchanges because, and I quote, humans can't be trusted not to accidentally turn a food replicator into a time machine." "Has that happened before?" asked the general, looking far too interested. "3 times, apparently," Prisma chimed in helpfully. "Though the third incident actually created an entirely new form of cuisine that exists simultaneously in past, present, and future." The Security Council chamber erupted in overlapping conversations. Jensen caught fragments about military applications, economic implications, and someone wondering if time-displaced food could solve world hunger. He raised his hand for silence, surprising himself with his newfound authority. "Look, I know this is overwhelming. Trust me, yesterday I was worried about making rent, and now I'm apparently Earth's technical ambassador to the galaxy. But we need to focus on the immediate issues." He activated his tablet, which Prisma had helpfully upgraded to project full holographic displays. A map of Earth's orbit appeared, showing hundreds of alien ships arranged in neat clusters. "Right now, we have 17 different alien species offering technical cooperation programs. We also have 12 species demanding we be quarantined for everyone's safety. The remaining species are either studying us for entertainment or taking bets on how long it'll take us to accidentally discover interdimensional travel." "And where do you stand in all this, Mr. Wright?" asked the Chinese representative, eyes sharp with interest. Jensen ran a hand through his disheveled hair. "I'm a mechanic. I fix things. Right now, Earth needs to fix its relationship with the galaxy. But we can't do it by pretending to be something we're not." He gestured to his toolbox. "These tools? They're not the most advanced in the galaxy. Not even close. But I use them to improve an alien ambassador's systems because I understood the principles behind how things work. That's what humans do best, we understand principles and then find new ways to apply them." The Russian representative leaned forward. "And these aliens trust you because..." "Because I was honest about not knowing everything," Jensen replied. "And because I fixed their elevator without turning it into a weapon, which apparently is some kind of galactic record for humans." A new voice joined the conversation. One of the void-born delegates had silently appeared in the chamber. Several security guards reached for weapons before realizing their guns had been transformed into potted plants. "We come with a proposal," the void-born whispered, its voice like distant stars going out. "The human Jensen Wright has demonstrated unusual competence in not causing accidental catastrophes. We suggest a compromise." The chamber waited tensely. Even Prisma's crystalline surface stilled. "Earth will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Technical Exchange Program, under specific conditions. First, all human innovations must be tested in controlled environments before implementation. Second, Technical Ambassador Wright will oversee all major technological transfers." Jensen blinked. "Technical Ambassador?" "Third," the Void-born continued, ignoring his surprise, "Earth must establish a new organization, one that combines human creativity with galactic safety protocols." The Secretary-General straightened. "What kind of organization?" We call it the Bureau of Unconventional Technical Solutions, or BUTS for short. The Voidborn somehow managed to look embarrassed. We apologize. Our acronym generator was programmed by humans. Despite the tension, several delegates snickered. Jensen stepped forward. So basically, you want us to keep innovating, but with supervision? Precisely. Your species has a unique talent for finding solutions no sane being would consider. This can be valuable, if properly contained. The Security Council chamber buzzed with excitement. The potential benefits were enormous: access to advanced technology, galactic trade opportunities, and protection from less friendly species. The risks, however, were equally massive. Jensen looked at his wrench, then at the assembled leaders of Earth, and finally at the swirling void that comprised the alien delegate. I have conditions of my own. The Voidborn rippled with interest. Speak. First, we maintain our right to solve problems our way. Yes, we'll follow safety protocols, but we won't be forced to think like other species. Second, knowledge sharing goes both ways: we learn from you, you learn from us. And third? Prisma asked, surfaces glittering with curiosity. Third, Jensen smiled, someone needs to explain to my landlord why my rent's going to be late. I've been a bit busy with this whole galactic diplomacy thing. The Voidborn made a sound like distant laughter. Acceptable terms. Though perhaps as technical ambassador, you should consider more suitable accommodations. We have an excellent quantum apartment complex in orbit. Does the elevator work? Jensen asked suspiciously. Usually. Though last week a human repair crew turned it into a device that makes infinite toast. The Secretary-General stood. Mr. Wright, Ambassador Wright, you understand what this means? You'll be responsible for managing humanity's technological integration with the galaxy. Jensen picked up his toolbox. Ma'am, I once fixed a quantum physics professor's car with nothing but paperclips and optimism. After that, managing galactic technology exchange should be easy. The universe, naturally, took that as a challenge. In orbit, a mechanoid ship had just discovered that their waste recycling system had somehow been converted into a device that wrote poetry about rubber ducks. Somewhere in the great cosmic bureaucracy, a file was being updated: humans, still accidentally reshaping reality, but now with supervision. Jensen Wright, newly appointed technical ambassador of Earth, had no idea what he was in for. But he had his tools, his wits, and a galaxy full of machines that needed fixing, one way or another. 1 month into his role as technical ambassador, Jensen Wright discovered that preventing galactic incidents was significantly harder than causing them. His new office aboard the International Space Station, recently upgraded with alien tech, was currently hosting 3 different crises, and it wasn't even lunchtime. Let me make sure I understand this correctly, Jensen said, staring at the holographic reports floating around his workspace. Someone gave the Brazilian research team a quantum fabricator. Correct, Prisma confirmed, their crystalline form reflecting the chaos of emergency signals. And instead of using it for authorized experiments, they tried to solve their coffee shortage. Also correct. And now there's a coffee singularity forming over Rio de Janeiro that's simultaneously brewing every possible type of coffee that has ever existed or will exist. The Voidborn are particularly concerned about the espresso variants from the 47th century, Prisma noted. Apparently, they cause spontaneous enlightenment and mild temporal hiccups. Jensen reached for his ever-present toolbox, now enhanced with both Earth and alien tools. That's actually not the worst crisis we have today, is it? No, Prisma's surface darkened slightly. The Mechanoid Collective is threatening to sever diplomatic relations because someone in Seattle attempted to upgrade their AI with cat videos. And now their entire battle fleet is demanding scratching posts and warm sunny spots to nap in. 3 dreadnoughts have already converted their weapon systems into yarn dispensers. Before Jensen could respond, a new alert flashed across his display. A small delegation of mathematical entities had appeared in his office, their equations crackling with agitation. Technical Ambassador Wright, the lead equation pulsed frantically. We demand immediate action. The humans you assigned to help optimize our computational systems have introduced an impossible variable. Jensen rubbed his temples. What kind of variable? They call it vibes. Vibes, Jensen repeated flatly. Yes. They insist that some equations just have good vibes or bad vibes and are adjusting our universal constants accordingly. This is not proper mathematical procedure. Actually, Prisma interjected, their surface rippling with amusement, their modifications have improved computational efficiency by 300%. We just don't understand how. Jensen stood up, grabbing his enhanced toolkit. Right. Prisma, contact the Brazilian Quantum Coffee Response Team. Tell them to hold off on any solutions until I arrive. Last time they tried to fix a quantum problem, they accidentally invented time-traveling tea. He turned to the mathematical entities. Your constants will have to wait. We have a more pressing issue with the mechanoid fleet. If we don't deal with their cat video situation soon, they'll start demanding laser pointers, and trust me, nobody wants militant AIs chasing red dots through the solar system. But the vibes the lead equation started to protest. Have improved your systems, Jensen cut in. Sometimes not understanding how something works is part of the process. Humanity made it to space largely because we refused to accept that things were impossible. His quantum communicator chimed, another crisis. The holographic display showed a group of energy beings who had been working with CERN. Apparently, someone had convinced them to try Swiss chocolate, and now they were experiencing sugar rushes that were causing localized reality fluctuations. Ambassador, one of his human assistants called from the doorway, the UN Security Council is demanding an update on the situation. Jensen checked his toolkit one last time, making sure he had everything from his old reliable wrench to the new quantum uncertainty adjuster. Tell them I'm handling it. And someone get me a coffee from the Singularity, might as well take advantage of the situation. Sir, the temporal health and safety guidelines specifically prohibit . Right now we have hyperactive energy beings reshaping reality because of chocolate, battle cruisers turning into the galaxy's largest cat cafes, and mathematicians having existential crises over vibes, Jensen interrupted. I think we can bend the rules on future coffee just this once. He stepped onto his quantum transport pad, coordinates set for Rio. Prisma, you're with me. Mathematical entities, start calculating how to contain a coffee singularity without disrupting the spacetime continuum or, more importantly, the flavor. And the mechanoid fleet? Prisma asked. Send them this. Jensen transmitted a file from his tablet. It's a compilation of the internet's best cat videos, along with a proposal to establish the first Galactic feline appreciation program. That should keep them occupied while we deal with the coffee situation. As they prepared to quantum tunnel to Brazil, Jensen couldn't help but smile. This wasn't exactly what he'd imagined when he'd taken that simple elevator repair job, but somehow it felt right. Humanity was making its mark on the galaxy, one bizarre innovation at a time. You know, he said to Prisma as they materialized near the swirling coffee singularity, most species would see all this chaos as a disaster. And you don't? Jensen pulled out his quantum uncertainty adjuster, modified with what looked suspiciously like duct tape and a coffee filter. I see it as proof that we're doing something right. We're not just copying alien technology, we're making it our own, finding new ways to use it, even if those ways involve caffeine-powered violations of physics. The Galactic Council will not be pleased, Prisma noted, though their crystalline surface sparkled with what might have been amusement. The Galactic Council asked for human innovation, Jensen replied, starting to calibrate his tools. They're getting it, coffee singularities and all. Now, let's see if we can't turn this potential disaster into the galaxy's first quantum coffee shop chain. Above them, the singularity swirled with infinite coffee possibilities, the mechanoid fleet purred contentedly while watching cat videos, and somewhere in CERN, energy beings were discovering the joy of Swiss hot chocolate. Just another day in humanity's chaotic introduction to galactic society. Jensen took a deep breath of coffee-scented quantum fluctuations and got to work. After all, he had a job to do, keeping humanity's wild innovations from accidentally ending reality while simultaneously revolutionizing it. All in a day's work for Earth's technical ambassador.